Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, Geminis. Let's go ahead and take a little peek, Geminis, at kind of the bridge. Obviously, there's a bridge behind me, but the bridge between 2025 and 2026, right? We're starting to wrap up this year. And then, of course, by February, we will move into the Chinese New Year, which will, transition us from right now, the year of the snake, into the year of the horse. And the snake is the year to shed an old skin. So, since we have a little bit of time between now and that big transition, I feel like we never talk about the transition moment that, like this last chunk of time. And this, I feel like, is an important time. So, I want to take a look, mostly just because it's year of the snake and we should be shedding some stuff. And so I want to look and see where are we at for Gemini during this transition moment, and then kind of like how does that impact the stepping into 2026. And Geminis, before I forget, if you guys are looking for your videos, please just know, I just recently found out that many people think I only put out one video a month. So obviously things are not circulating that well. But in fact, I strive to put out 2 videos for every zodiac every week. Unless I'm moving and terrible things, throw me off, then everybody just gets 1 per week or something. But even so, I think you guys have had like 7 already this month. And so with that in mind, you can always find your content in a playlist called Gemini. And I have a playlist for every single zodiac. So just so you guys know kind of more what to expect, let me make sure that I let you guys know about that. So yeah, click on my channel on the playlist and then scroll through and you'll find Gemini in amongst them. If you click on the Gemini playlist, they go newest to oldest. So there's lots for you to pick from. So we have the Emperor upright and we have the 3 of Wands. Hi, guys. Wendy, Christopher, great to see you. So what is this transition moment about? It is about some serious stuff, right? With the Emperor here, strong Aries energy. This could be dealing with a strong boss. This could be somebody just taking charge of their empire also. That 3 of Wands says we're in kind of, let's say, taking stock of things and making plans for the future. We also have like the story of David and Goliath being shown on this particular 3 of Wands card, because it's kind of like a world history deck that I have here. We'll talk more about that in the next series throughout this week. But this feels very much like if we're going to have a moment in time where Gemini is taking stock of what's going on in their life, they could be saying, I'm on my come up, and I know that I am. I can see that I'm going to be doing great things. I can see that I'm rising. And I also can see that soon I will surpass something that previously was above me. So the David Goliath aspect, like the Goliath will be something that is not larger than me any longer, because my empire is gaining. My strength or my talents are going to, excel. And this could be anything. The Goliath in this metaphor could be something that Geminis wanted to learn how to do and become very proficient at. This could be a talent that they've wanted, or a skill that they've wanted to hone. This could be a work-related thing. This could be, I want to be the best salesperson on the team, and I'm really hustling hard to learn as much as I can so that I'm, the best at my career path. Whatever this is, this could be, I want to learn how to do something with swiftness and efficiency, and I'm getting better and better, and pretty soon that what used to take me 2 hours to do will literally be shrunken down to I can get it done in 25 minutes flat now, because I learned how to work with efficiency. It could be doing a personal best. I want to, in 3 months, if I stay dedicated to this, I could become whatever. I could go compete in a bodybuilding competition because, man, I just totally got cut. Anything that we set our mind to with this determination that I'm going to own this, I'm not going to let it own me. That's what this feels like. So this powerful determination that says within 90 days, I'm going to have real success that is measurable. So I feel like Gemini is just in this place of all right, bring it on. I can't wait to do this. This is exciting. I'm going to do really well. I'm putting all my effort into this and I really want this. Hi guys, Lightning Cass. Wendy, you're so adorable. You tied with Violet. Shout out to Violet if you're out there tonight, babe. We got a 4 of Cups. One of the things that it seems like Gemini is really putting their energy toward and putting themselves into, like, let me be successful at this, let me build this, let me grow this. It actually says with that Four of Cups, this could be someone who is, like really feeling the, like, illusions or feelings of loss or feelings of missed opportunity, and they're like, I'm not gonna let that be my story anymore. I feel only determination coming off of this, but not like mean-spirited determination or pushing oneself too hard, just knowing that I absolutely have like competencies, and what is an illusion is the idea that I can't make it. Of course I can. I can do anything anybody else can do. This Gemini knows that they have as much worth and as much value and as much ability as any other person on this planet to be successful. Six of Swords sideways. I don't know if Gemini is somebody who had like a lot of things stacked against them at different points in their life. Like maybe they've always been like, well, I just have me doing it. Other people have a whole team. They can afford all kinds of fancy stuff. They've got tutors. They've got, behind the scenes assistants, but it's just me swinging in the wind. But you know what? I've come to say, kind of dig that, because at least it's me doing my thing, and I'm not going to stress out about that, and I'm not going to be bothered by that. And if I feel like somehow it's just me building my own empire instead of having the support of a group behind me, that just means my empire will be that much more tailored to who I am. It'll be a better reflection of just me and my voice and whatever it is that I'm doing. So I would say, if Gemini, I don't even know that Gemini really wants to work in a group. I kind of think Gemini's a leader, not a follower, period. And it doesn't mean that they can't get along with others and play nice with others. It says, though, that Gemini has been like finding better traction, doing things totally solo, even though there are certainly big disadvantages to having only oneself to rely on. I mean, first and foremost, you got to do it all if you're just one person, right? Whereas a team, you can delegate, you can have help. But I don't think Gemini would change this for anything. We have a Nine of Wands. In this case, Nine of Wands can be the wounded warrior energy. I kind of think that Gemini is, on one hand, part of a different group. The group of, let's say, individuals, which I know that sounds crazy, right? How do you have a group of individuals? Does an individual mean one standing alone? Yes, but put a group of independent thinkers together, and they all, have a different way. They can inspire each other, but maybe they don't work like breathing down each other's necks. I almost feel like that's the kind of thing. So let me put it this way. Let's say Gemini is like an independent self-starter, and they'll go out and they'll, research stuff on their own, and they'll read great literature and great, documents and papers, and be up to speed on all kinds of like, other, let's say this is a scientific aspect. Great scientists want to read each other's work to, on one hand, just out of sheer curiosity, like, what did you find out? I want to see, what were your results when you tested this, when you did that? Because if you got those results, it makes me hypothesize something else that I would want to test for. And, sometimes everybody puts one little building block of information together, and pretty soon we have this whole like alphabet, but everybody contributed one letter in their own way, but they stay up to date on, their peers' work. I could see Gemini being that kind of mindset. They kind of work solo. They're building their own empire. They're excelling. They have set their mind to something that they want to do in the next 90 days, but they may be getting inspired instead of, because there's going to be hurdles. If we're building something all by ourselves or perfecting something, it takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of, staying inspired and motivated. So I think this is when Gemini gets fatigued, they turn to some other, I'll say, group of individuals for inspiration, for support. Now, maybe they actually do have friends that are, the people that they turn to when they get a little bit, exhausted. But I don't think so. I keep feeling like this is more Gemini looks up information. They keep researching stuff. They come at things from different perspectives. They keep working on it. Nine of Wands is a wounded warrior, but here's the thing. That wounded warrior has already been in 9 battles. He learned a ton and he's already survived all the battles. Of course, he's sleepy, he's tired, but he's just catching his breath so then he can complete it and do one more thing with that 10 of Wands, and then he's done. And then life gets really good again. So I feel like this is, I don't think Gemini's going to give up at all. I think they're going to find ways to keep staying motivated and be re-inspired. Knight of Swords, Two of Pentacles. It's crazy though, because either things are actually going to happen faster than in 90 days. Everything could get expedited way more than what Gemini would have expected. If they're going to be perfecting something, learning something, it says they could have an unexpected person pop into their world, or sometimes we think we're going to do something all on our own and this is how long it's going to take, and we've set our sights on that, and then somebody else pops into our world and they have some great idea and it's like, oh my God, you just added like a thought process that will cut off 50% of the amount of work I was going to put in. This could be somebody that is like a soulmate. It could be somebody that is, a gift from the divine. It could be somebody that is going to become a good friend, but it feels like whatever, because I kind of think Gemini was almost going to commit themselves to some hardcore situation that they really want to see success in the next 90 days. And sometimes when we go into like beast mode like that, or in this case, emperor mode, we can kind of cut other people out of our lives. And this kind of hints that Gemini can't really operate as an island. It's okay to be an individual, but to not forget that other people have contributions to make. And I almost think that why take 90 days to do something if you can take a month and a half? Why not shorten that up? Why not, if there is a better way, or somebody brings in more information, or somebody shows up that is like, it can expedite things, why not? I know that's unfamiliar turf. See, we have 9 of Swords. This kind of says, I see Gemini as somebody who set it in their head that they had to do these certain things in their own life. And if somebody else comes in and kind of throws that plan off, they could be a little bit nervous, like, whoa, I said I was going to be single for 90 days. I said I wasn't going to date. I said I was focusing on my goals. Now somebody wonderful is here and they're contributing something to my life. But I said I was going to be single. Do I really want to let this person in? That's going to be the one thing that Gemini is going to have to wrap their head around, I think. 7 of Wands. Their instinct is to push it away. It's crazy because this Gemini is very hell-bent on doing what they think is right for themselves, and they got themselves excited about this and they're all in. But they're going to be challenged to accept another person's assistance that they didn't expect, or somebody else's presence in their life that they didn't expect that could be lovely, or even a shortcut on something they thought was going to be way harder to do. And they're really going to struggle, it says, to accept that because they were so like, their mental headspace was, I'm going to go for this. It's going to be hard, but I'm going to do it. And it's going to be amazing. And I got this. Oh, we have the Death card. This is asking Gemini to be more flexible. So the big transformation in this bridge, when we go from, 2025 into 2026, to me, the big message is Gemini maybe is going to be challenged to be more flexible. They are such a self-starter. They don't need any more motivation. This Gemini is like, oh my gosh, like bear claws. They go at stuff and I'm going to go get it all. I'm going to get it all done. And they can do it. They can do it the long way. They can do it the hard way. They can be successful at anything. None of that is what needs to be fine-tuned for Gemini. The only thing that has to be fine-tuned for Gemini moving into next year is sometimes the universe gifts us shortcuts and wonderful people, and Gemini has to sometimes dial it down a little so that they can enjoy the gifts that come in, the gifts of friendship, or the partnership that comes in unexpectedly, or the opportunities to have a slightly easier life. I know Gemini's not used to that. In this story, it says they're much more used to having to do everything by themselves. So this will be a challenge. Isn't that crazy? Most of the times we would expect that a character's challenge would be like to get motivated or to stay motivated. This Gemini, their big challenge is let somebody else in, accept the assistance, accept the shortcut, accept that there's sometimes another way to do it other than just you having to go, 10,000 miles per hour and get it all done yourself. That's the challenge. And going into 2026, I think Gemini is going to maybe adapt to this because of that death card. 10 of Pentacles. The reason this is the transition phase for Gemini is because, especially if this is a Gemini who's used to being kind of solo or somebody who can't rely on others, this says they're about to have companionship, friendship, family, support, maybe a lot of things that they did not have before. And they're going to have to get comfortable. Baby, don't eat the box, honey. Aries is reverting to his puppy days of chewing on cardboard. I have no idea why right now. This feels like Gemini but in 2026, if partnership is going to be big for them, family. And when I say family, so I use the word very differently. I think of family as whomever we choose to have under our umbrella of protection. So I don't think family needs to be people you're related to. I call family any person that I care deeply about. That's my family. So those are the ones, if one of them called me right now, I would say, Geminis, I have to go. And I would be gone in an instant because that's family. They need you, you go. And it's just kind of one of those things where, like, not everybody's on that list, right? But those that are, that's what family is. And I think Gemini hasn't had that. And it's preparing them for letting family in, whatever that means for Gemini, building bonds with people. Because I think next year we actually have a whole bunch of people. And I wonder if this is going to be such a gear shift for them. Because I keep thinking we have had a very self-sufficient Gemini, even one who's been fairly ostracized, somebody who's used to, combating problems in life totally alone. And now they're going to suddenly have this huge, group around them. That's going to be both wonderful and weird for this Gemini. It looks like a lot of happiness, though, and it looks like their life is going to get easier. And it looks like, these are big, fancy, heavy chairs. Why move them by yourself when you could have, a friend come over with their truck and they move it with you and it gets done way faster? It just feels like Gemini finally will have people around them that they can call, but they need to first be brave enough to pick up the phone and call those friends. Because I think this is the big struggle for Gemini, or the thing that they have to transition into for 2026. They got to learn how to welcome others into their world. Tough to do for somebody who's fiercely independent or simply hasn't had someone to rely on. That's what it looks like. Can I get one last card here? Missy Maria, nice to see you, babe. We have Judgment. Judgment card is making decisions. It is reconciling. It is bringing things back into one's life. I would say this could be Gemini reconciling with people of their past, or maybe even piecing a family back together, or simply reconciling in themselves that I'm not actually an island, and there are people that I resonate really well with. But this is a big change for Gemini in the mental headspace. Lightning Cast, thank you, babe. It's so good to see you. And Wendy E, again, thank you so much, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight, Christopher. All right, lots of love to you guys. I'm going to bounce on out. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.